Hello everybody, SoCal here, welcoming you back to another Zmodeler 3 tutorial. Today, our tutorial is actually going to take us out of Zmodeler. So what we're going to do is, we're picking up where we left off, if you're following my tutorial series, with the Ford Crown Victoria. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you today how I extract textures and how I try to optimize them as best as I can so the vehicles are not too overpowering and causing texture loss for people in game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our textures here. We're going to make sure there's no unused textures, which there is. There's a dirt map in here because we don't use that dirt mapping anymore. So if you were watching the templating episode, then you already know how far we are into this here. We've already made our dirt mapping. We've already changed our coloring here. So if we don't use our template, we can still change the vehicle's colors to whatever color combination we want, which I'll show you guys in this episode as well. And now what we're going to do is extract our texture file so we can make a YTD file. So we're going to open up our textures here. We're going to go to all textures so we capture everything. You're looking for stuff that is not part of GTA 5's vehicle share texture files. If you do an extraction of them, you'll be able to see which ones they are, which I don't think I have anything close to. I don't. Okay. But just to give you an idea, it'll usually say vehicle generic on it. So like, I don't need this texture file because it's already encoded into GTA 5. So I don't need this environmental file just because it's just for the shininess of this. I know some people put it in there. I prefer not to. The dials you do need, however, you don't want to take it from Zmod. If you want to make sure you have working dials, I would highly suggest you take the dials from within your OpenIV, and I'll show you guys. We'll be working in OpenIV today with this model. So again, you don't want to use any of these generic texture files, but like this CV one right here, that's one we're going to need. Lights, this. So I'm holding control while I click these on my keyboard, because you're going to want each one of these. Black is actually something that's in the vshare file, so you don't need that either. This is for the windows. This is more of the interior. Blank is something that's in there as well in the vshare file. As you do more vehicles, you'll kind of get familiar with what's in there and what's not. And also, if you forget one and you need it, it'll show up in OpenIV. You'll see a texture missing. You'll just have like a white spot there instead. So I need all of these. Tire dirt looks like it's the generic one I don't need. I'm going to take these as well for the wheels, even though we're going to be making a change to those. Dingy black, that's a very commonly used texture that's not in the vshare file though. And then finally my my template that I made from the last episode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these textures in here. I save one and then I hold the enter key and let it do its thing. If there's a duplicate in there, it'll pop up an error and say, do you want to replace it? Normally I replace it, it's fine. There we go. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to export our file because we've made changes to this CVPI. There we go. And then I'm going to export the high just because, again, I'm lazy with LODs. We'll minimize this for the time being. Go ahead and open OpenIV, which it might have an update. I haven't used it in a while. No, maybe not. Okay. So while that's opening, I'm going to go ahead and delete my backup files. I'm going to go into the texture files here. So if you make a copy of something, you'll see that it's a copy and you need to delete it or a backup because you don't need that. I'm going to change the view to, I'm going to change the view to details because I want to see what the size is of each file. So taking a look at this at these files, they're actually pretty high up there. So like this is, and it's to be expected because they're DDS files. So I'm gonna open the first one here, just to open my paint.net. There we go. Then I'm going to select all of these and drag them in here. And then I'm going to delete them. I'll drag this one in here. Yep. And then I'm just gonna, just for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and just start selecting them. Again, I'm using the control key when I'm doing this. And this is how I try to optimize my vehicle files. Again, I say try because it's not the best way, it's just the way that I do it. And it doesn't actually, like, if it converts it back to DDS, it's not actually optimizing it. So first things first, now we know all of these textures are pretty high up there in quality. The reason I say that is I look for anything with 4 digits. If it's got 4 digits for the size, that's probably a little too much. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert the template to a PNG file. And then for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and delete parts of my template. I'll leave the front and the back on there, but I'm going to delete these off so you guys can see the color changing on the doors. Next is the tires. The tires I do not mess with in regards to changing to a PNG. When you do that, that's when you start getting that green hue or that purple hue for the texture. So when it comes to like darker textures, I try not to do that. So like the tire, I don't want to do it, but I don't need this Goodyear and Eagle RSA detail. So what I do is I reduce it down by 50% and I'll save that. I'll save this one. That's the bump map for it. This is the fabric. I can deal with that looking a little cheesy because you're not going to be looking at the seats. These are just the images, so I'm not too worried about, or the stickers rather, like the decals. I'm not too worried about details on those. This is the dash, so I probably want to keep this the way it is. So I'm going to just resave that. And if you look in here, this is it right here. Then this is the dash, but just the lights on the interior when they light up at night. I'm not too concerned about that either, so it just needs to light up. These are the buttons for the interior. I'm not concerned about these because they're white in color. They're not going to look like a weird hue. Normally this I would not care about, but I'm going to in this case just to be on the safe side. This is the buttons when they light up at night, so I'm not too worried about that. This is the interior paneling, so you probably don't want that to be changing hue, so you're going to want to go ahead and save that. This is the housings of the lights. I don't really care too much for these, so I'm going to convert this, and I'm going to reduce it down. I don't need that much detail. I mean, it's cool, but it's not necessary. Then we're going to reduce down the bump map for it, too. And then this looks like, yeah, this is for the lights again, too, so we're going to do the same thing here. For these lights, yeah, we're probably going to still do that as well. Whoops. I'm going to save it as a PNG file, and then this is the bump map for it. And this is the headlights. That's the detail of the headlights. That's a little bit, that's nice that the author of this mod put that as its own thing. This is the bump map detail for the leather seats, so we can do that. This is a bump map for speakers. This is for this wheel, so we probably want to keep this the same. This is just for badging, and it's just the spec map, so I'm going to go ahead and change that and reduce it down. This is the bump map for the same thing, so I'm going to reduce that down. So when you reduce it down, the quality is not the same, obviously, but it's, I mean, it's still presentable. You can tell what it is. It's just, if you're looking at an ultra high, like intense monitor, it might not be the best. Actually, we're gonna just keep this the way it is, just because it's a detail file. And then you have this, which you want to keep this the same. You don't want to convert this down, just because it's, again, it's the gauge clusters. This is the wheel itself, so you want to save this and not alter it. This is just a brake rotor. The brake rotors don't need to be that detailed to me, so I can reduce that down twice. I try never to go below 256 by 256, just because I'm not sure what kind of details you're going to get there. As far as dirt mapping goes, like if it's custom, I try not to touch it. So like I don't want to reduce this down because it's the dirt mapping for the glass. And then I don't want to reduce this down either because it's how the glass is templated to the vehicle. So I'm going to keep those the same. And then this is the undercarriage, which it's very dark. I don't want to alter this either. I probably will just reduce it down just a little bit because I don't need this much detail into the bottom of the car. And then we'll save that. And then under the hood too, because honestly, I'm not going to be looking under the hood. So we have this now. You'll see there's still some pretty high texture size files in there for the ones that I didn't reduce down all the way. I did. I thought I did. I thought I deleted everything. Oh, okay. No, I did. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to edit mode in our OpenIV that's open. I'm going to create a new texture file. We're going to call it police since that's the name of our vehicle model file. Look for it here. Double click to open it up. And you're going to just move all of these textures here. And you might get some errors, so let's see if we do. So it says it can't import the following files. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up those files. I think this was one of them. There's a lot of them. So yeah, this is one. This is one. Chrome 86 is one. That's another highly used texture file that everybody likes to use. And interior color plate is the last one. Okay, there we go. So none of these files worked for OpenIV. All I do is I open them up in paint.net and I save them. And then they will be readable in paint.net. There we go. So as you can see in paint.net, it says I have a total of 48 files, but in here it says I have 52 because of those errors. Now if I drag this over, it should say 52. Yep, so now I have 52. So now we're matching there. The next thing you want to do, and this is something I see everybody forget, I shouldn't say everybody, almost a good majority of vehicle devs forget, is to add the textures for the dials in case you want to do a first person patrol. Then you go to import. This is where I keep all my dial textures. We're using, it's probably generic taxi. Let me see. Yeah, generic taxi. So you're looking for that texture file in here, which is, where's it at? It's in right here. So there we go. Now we have 3. We have 53 texture files in here, and our dial should be working now because now we have that included as well. Then once you save, you want to take a look and see how it looks. This is kind of on the high side for something that doesn't have anything other than the model. So if it was like a vehicle I was working on for a community member or something, I would probably go in and try to reduce it down more. And you can always go in here and you can say, you know what, I don't care about these details, and you can reduce it down and then see if it gives you that purple or green hue. It's totally up to you. But since we're done with that, I went ahead and deleted the police file, the texture file here. We're going to copy all of this over to here. Yep, replace our copied files. I got to clear my queue real quick in my my cache in my 5M server. And then I'll go back to that folder. And tutorial. There we go. Now what we can do is we can launch our game or our server, and I'm going to launch 5M. And I will show you guys how this stuff works in here. I think on the next episode, what we'll do is we'll do some name changing for the file, so you can see like how to do a custom like an add-on vehicle, and kind of start getting an idea what car variation stuff, like what the different lines do, and the vehicles.meta and whatnot. So this is booting up now. I'm still waiting on part of my server to boot up, so I'm not going to immediately launch into it. It's still loading the OCRP civilian cars because they're pretty big and they take a while. There we go. Usually the first civilian file is kind of slow, and then the rest of them start to load in a little gradually there. And then have that. There we go. Okay, so it should boot my server up now. And we're just gonna wait for the server to boot up, and then we'll go in, and when we spawn the car, what should happen is the front of the car where we didn't delete and the back of the car where we didn't delete should have some grid lines on it. That's our template. It's saying that the template is working here, so I need a paint job or something to put on there. If I painted it black, they would have stayed black, but I just left it as the grid line just because I was lazy and didn't want to do it. The rest of the car should mimic itself to GTA 5 coloring. So I'll be able to alter it in the V menu. So, game's booting up here. Oh, we're indoors. We don't want to be here. Let's fly out of the house real quick. We'll do this in the parking lot. Hopefully nobody spawns in here. And it doesn't need to be raining. We don't need it to be. There you go. Alright, so we're going to spawn our vehicle. Alright, so here's our vehicle. See, it's all white. But if you look, see how the template is still showing there? Because we didn't delete that part. Now, if I want to, and you can see it's back here too. If I want to, what I do is I go to Vehicle Options, Vehicle Colors. So the primary color is going to be those pieces there. Again, Paint 1 from what you saw on the template tutorial is right there. So what we'll do is, we'll do an opposite. We'll do a white, and then we'll do a black for the secondary. So as you see, black for the secondary, or the secondary color, is controlled by paint number 2 right there. So as you see, I have a black and, well, a white and black police cruiser. And if I get out of it, as you can see, the door jambs that we did as well are still painted as well. So they get painted with the doors as we intended. Now the body shell itself doesn't get painted, that's fine, but at least that's covered. In fact, I don't recall if I did paint those or not. I think I didn't set that up to the template, so there is going to be that little bit of a gap in our paint, but it is what it is. Again, it is only a tutorial car. So taking a look at the car, as you can see, all the textures are in here. They look good. They look fluid. Sometimes, like if you try to convert the tire files, they don't look quite the same. I think my CHP car has that problem, so what I'll do is I'll give you guys an example here because it should be in here. Let's spawn 2008 CVPI. Yeah, so it's, oh, maybe I did fix it. So as you can see, this is my CHP CVPI from my CHP pack. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you look at the tires from our tutorial car, oh man, to this one, you can see there's a little more purple to it. And what is that? Oh, it must be just stuff flying by. But you can see there's a little more of a purple tint to the sidewall here than is on our tutorial car there. That's why you want to be careful with those texture files. But as you see, like with this car, again with the colors, if you want to, you can do an all black HP vehicle, or you can do, again, like what we did over there, we could do a reverse. That's why I set that up the way I do. Okay, so that's how you do that. As far as, oh, actually, you know what, I forgot to show you guys one more thing. So for those of you that were watching the dirt mapping template, or tutorial rather, I'll show you the dirt mapping in effect here too. So what we'll do is we'll change the entire car back to white. And then I'll show you guys the dirt mapping. So we got no dirt, we got dirt 1, dirt 2, dirt 3, dirt 4. Why is that? That should be looking a little bit more dirtier than it is. Why is that not doing that? Oh, because I'm not clicking it, that's why. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the grunge is starting to get on the vehicle there. 10, 11, 12. You can see it's starting to get in the back here. And then you can do no dirt again. But we do 15, so you can see the vehicle gets completely dirty there. And then for the sake of the glass tutorial, I think I fixed the rear glass that I altered last time. Let me see. Yeah, so got that working again too, the one that I adjusted, but I didn't fix the other ones that needed it. But yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do to extract texture files, as well as it shows you what templates control, and if you don't want a template to control something, what you need to delete in order to do it. And also it gives you guys kind of an idea of texture files, like what you want to reduce down and what you maybe don't want to reduce down, what's maybe not important to you, like the undercarriage or something like that, as opposed to something else like the tires being black instead of a purple or green hue like over there. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in to this tutorial of Zmodeler 3 and creating a YTD file using textures. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought. The next tutorial, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm kind of at a toss-up between doing a moving spotlight or doing something else instead in its place. By the time this goes out, I'll probably already have it decided, so I mean, I do apologize if you pick one and it's the other. But just know either way, I'm gonna do both. I'll do either the rotating spotlight, or I'll do the other thing, and then I'll do the opposite of whichever one I do for that episode after that. But thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.